Yo, what is up, everyone? My name is Dom, and we're here to talk about unusual options activity. All right, disclaimer: this video is for educational purposes only. The statements made in this programming are solely the opinion of the show and are not a specific inducement to make an investment. One must perform their own due diligence and realize that all investments carry risk. There's no guaranteed profit. All right, so I want to talk about a couple of trades today. These were trades that I was looking at on Friday. Now, this first one, NVIDIA here. So I have a large stock position in NVIDIA, so I do not really trade the options that much just because I have such a large stock position. I'm kind of taking double risk there just by getting in the options and trading the stock. If I see a lot of puts in NVIDIA, I will try to hedge that position a little bit to get some downside protection because it's such a large stock position, but it's kind of a long-term investment for me, so I don't really trade it around very much. But NVIDIA is a good stock to trade if you don't have a stock position in it already. I know some people have stock positions and they trade the calls. You can kind of choose to do what you will with that. But if we look here at some of these May 5th expiration options here, the May 5th 280 calls, right now the stock is trading at about 277. This stock is very volatile, so you can catch a quick move and you can take some profits pretty quickly in this one. Or obviously, if the trade starts to work against you, we're getting calls here, so we want the stock to move higher to profit. If the stock starts moving lower, especially with these shorter dated calls, in my opinion, I always cut the losses quick, or at least try to. Sometimes the stock opens down big and you kind of get screwed. But that's the deal with options. Like how I said in the last video, you got to know what you're doing. It can be extremely risky and you can lose everything. But there was some good trades that I saw here in these May 5th expirations, option expiration. These are next week, 280 calls. These expire, next week. So we start trading Monday. We have about 5 days for this trade to work here. Saw some nice orders here. This stock, we'll take a look at the chart. This stock has a ton of momentum here. As you can see, from year to date, from the beginning of the year, this stock was at about 143. Now it's at about 277. You can see here we're kind of forming, it's kind of a little bit of a bull flag, what they call it. A chart pattern here where we have a big run up and then we kind of trade sideways here, consolidate, and essentially make a flag here. You can see here's the pole, here's the flag. We're kind of making it now. We're above all these moving averages here, but as you can see, it's had a huge run, so I'm a bit skeptical to get in these trades, to get in these calls. But like what I said, I have a long-term investment in this one, and I'm not selling it or buying more here. But this is an interesting trade to keep an eye on. A little bit of some technical analysis as well. Next one I think is really interesting here, and this is one that I'm going to try to possibly get in on Monday, tomorrow. Now, this is the KRE here. So this is a regional bank index. If you don't know, there is kind of a little bit of a mini banking crisis going on right now. There's, I think, three or four banks, including Credit Suisse, that went under or bought out. There is another bank in turmoil. I don't know if I want to bring that up and talk about that because then that can lead to people going out and shorting the stock and it can be kind of a nightmare. But you can look it up online. There's another bank that might potentially be going under here, but I think that one or several banks could step up and buy that. And kind of once this one bank gets resolved, the assets get bought out. I think that that kind of clears the mini banking crisis that we have right now. It kind of puts it aside, and I think these stocks can maybe have a rally here. So, sorry for kind of the vague explanation. I don't want to get into like specific names with that. I know there are some people like causing bank runs on Twitter, and I don't want to do anything like that. So just look it up on the news, you'll see it. But if you look here, these May 5th expiration calls, 44 and a half calls. So these are pretty far out of the money here with with this ETF trading at 42.66. They're getting the 44 and a half calls. You can see 27,000 of these calls traded, open interest of about 662. I saw some nice orders here. What I would say, you want to see big volume, low open interest, and you want to see a lot of those orders in the volume as buys. Therefore, we know they're buy to open because there's such low open interest. So this one is interesting here. It's like what I said in the last video. You kind of want to trade with the chart here. Obviously, it's going lower, but I just described buying calls. So that means we want this ETF to move higher here to profit. But like what I said, after this last bank in this mini banking crisis gets resolved or bought out, or the FDIC takes receivership, however that is going to work, I think that could ignite a rally in these stocks here, these regional bank stocks like PNC, many others, although that's kind of a super regional. There's a ton of small banks in the United States that are in this index. So you can kind of see here, we're kind of building a little bit of a base here around this 40.5 dollar level. We kind of had a nice bounce within the last couple of days here. It's like what I said, you kind of always want to trade with the chart here. Obviously, this one is going lower here, but I think this is a special circumstance where if all these banking issues blow over here and there's nothing else that comes out of it, I think this ETF is looking super interesting here. So make sure to leave a comment down below if you got any questions. Make sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed the video. Make sure to subscribe.